I'm going to read a few passages from this just to give you a taste of what's going on. But essentially, the argument here is that if Democrats really do the unthinkable, if they are foolish enough to impeach Donald J. Trump as a civilian, as a citizen, as a non-federal employee, they're going to open the door for something very bad to happen. I'm going to pick up part of the way through this op-ed. As I said, you'll be able to see this later tonight or tomorrow on westernjournal.com. Picking up partway through. Some may argue that once a person leaves federal employment, the option for impeachment is no longer viable. However, the precedent of impeachment tells us otherwise, and a view of history can help us understand why. William Belknap served as Secretary of War under Ulysses S. Grant from 1869 to 1876. While Secretary of War, Belknap's extravagant lifestyle came into question. Over a number of years, funds were, over a few years, Congress investigated, and they found out that thousands of dollars were funneled to Belknap in quarterly payments, totaling up to $20,000 before all was said and done. Some of the accusations against Belknap included indirectly selling weapons to France and for accepting illicit kickbacks in exchange for making political appointments. Gun running, kickbacks, political deals for financial gain. Isn't that exactly what evidence strongly suggests Hillary Clinton is or was involved in? Again, I'm reading from Chris Ann Hall. According to Senate records, on March 2nd, 1876, just minutes before the House of Representatives was scheduled to vote on articles of impeachment, Belknap raced to the White House, handed Grant his resignation, and ignominiously burst into tears. Belknap's resignation didn't stop his impeachment, and there's the rub. Later that day, members voted unanimously to send the Senate 5 articles of impeachment. What was Congress' chief accusation against Belknap? Criminally disregarding his duty as Secretary of War and basely prostituting his high office to his lust for private gain. And we know nobody likes prostitutes in high office like the Clintons do. That's me, not Chris Ann.
Oh, boy.
If Democrats do pull the trigger, Chris Ann writes, they may end up getting more than they bargained for. For example, Hillary Clinton was accused of a very serious federal crime. Although the Department of Justice decided not to criminally prosecute her for that crime, under the Belknap precedent, there would be nothing to stop Hillary from coming under prosecution of impeachment in today's Congress. We know that's not going to happen, or any Congress in the future, causing her to lose her pension and to be blocked from running for federal office ever again. Now, I don't think she's going to run for federal office ever again. I don't think she is a Clinton. I don't think the Democrat Party. I think they will lock her in a box.
Yeah.
Wrap rocks around, chain rocks to it, and drop it in the ocean before they let her run again. Mm-hmm. But I do think a symbolic impeachment would appeal to a whole lot of people. Perhaps some of the people, like we talked about earlier today. I can absolutely see Marjorie Taylor Greene getting just absolutely loving this idea. Yeah. So I'm just kind of curious, what do you guys make of that? What do you think you think the Republicans have got the guts to do it? You think the Democrats are thinking along these lines? Are they animus possessed and not thinking about anything else, or are they making political calculations? What do you guys think?
I think Democrats are definitely animus possessed. I think that's obvious for anyone to see. Even if the Democrats do impeach Trump a second time, I hate the idea of going after Hillary Clinton. To me personally, and this is very much something that I blame Democrats for. This is completely on them. I really despise the idea of impeachment being a symbolic gesture. Mm-hmm. To me, it is a serious offense that should be reserved for legitimately serious cases. I don't think either of Trump's impeachments rise to that occasion. But the idea you bring to the table, Josh, it's such a slippery slope. And I just don't like it. I don't like the idea of any president who does something or has done something getting impeached because the other party doesn't like him or her. It's just, I think it's a dangerous precedent. And again, this sounds like I'm criticizing Chrisanne Hall.
No, I don't think it sounds like that.
It is 100% on the Democrats right now, because what they're doing is just so blatant, pathetic. It's just them throwing a hissy fit, wanting to, kick someone on their way out, or is out, I guess. He's not even on his way out. I don't like impeachment being used as a political prop. I don't think that is the correct use of it. I don't think it should be the case ever.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that there are a lot of people that would very much like to see Hillary Clinton impeached. I think that it would be great to watch. But, I also think that this is one occasion where we can kind of rise above and recognize she's probably not going to run for federal office again. This is really kind of meaningless at this point. At this point, it would just be to kind of say, we told you so. We know that you did something bad, which we do know that she did something bad. But I don't think that... I think that the Republican Party can do a little bit better than kind of clamoring for her impeachment. Just to sort of say, you wanted to impeach our guy, we're going to impeach your guy.
Yeah. So that's really interesting, because then it raises the question that we brought up a little bit ago about Republicans knowing how to lose and Democrats always being willing to fight the fight. And then in principle, I agree. In principle, I agree with both of you. But I wonder, what it takes us back to is the issue of virtue. The problem in all of this is that we have people who are not behaving virtuously, who don't live virtuously. And so when you try to live virtuously and someone else out there is ruthless, it can be very difficult to fend them off.
That's true.
And I think you were even on this show. This was a while ago, Josh, but we talked about sort of this race to the bottom of sort of, like you said, morality between the Dems and the Republicans. At a certain point, someone has to be the bigger person. Yeah. But like you said, the person, the adult willing to be the bigger person will often get trampled or taken advantage of, and it's a thorny situation. I 100% agree with you on that. I do wonder whether or not if the Democrats are salvageable in any way, shape, or form. I mean, there are some, I disagree with them on principle, but some more.
Joe Manchin,
and she's not in politics really anymore, but Tulsi Gabbard. Like there are some Democrats
I think she's coming back. And even Sinema on the filibuster. I mean, she's an Arizona Democrat.
But then that little nugget of hope just gets squashed by when you see like the squad, and it's just like, man, like it's I still think it's a race to the bottom, and it's just, I don't see where we pull up.